What is up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers Daily. That's right. Club football is back, baby. We are playing again today, and I'm very, very, very pumped about today's action. Of course, there is the Man City game before the Arsenal game, as well as Chelsea versus Port Vale. Of course, big up Port Vale. Got to give them the respect every single time. Of course, I do appreciate everyone being here. Go ahead and smash up those likes for a good day in the FA Cup. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It would be an absolute honor, a pleasure, a joy to welcome you to this community. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. You know it helps the channel every single time. So make sure you got that done. Make sure you're sharing it across your socials, all that good stuff. Of course, make sure you got the notification bell on. We will be doing some watch alongs today. So make sure you're locked in there as well. And of course, I want to know what you're thinking in the comments section down below. Your thoughts, your comments, concerns, admonitions, your dreams, your darkest desires, all that good shit right down in the comments section below. Let's hop right into this one, man. I am pumped. I am pumped. Club football is finally back, and we are going to just take a look at the day, take a look at a couple of the betting angles that I've looked at as well. I expect after hearing Nez and Asif speak on Wednesday about the Man City Liverpool game, I'm not exactly sure what to expect from it. I did run it through one of my systems to figure out, what I should be betting on it. Of course, make sure you're gambling responsibly out there, people, every single time. But it is interesting, some things to note that kind of are a little bit deeper than just the regular narrative. And it was really interesting to note that Asif, the Liverpool fan on the channel, doesn't really think Liverpool are going to necessarily show up to this one, are necessarily going to be, raring to go. And, he doesn't seem to think they're going to put up a fight at all. And he doesn't really seem to be worried about it, to be honest with you, which was very, very interesting to me. If I'm being honest, I thought that this might be a spicy one, might be a good one, but according to him, it's going to be pretty tame. As far as how it's going to go, maybe Liverpool might find some joy on the break. Maybe they're going to be able to skip the midfield and hit that high line, but honestly, I expect City to dominate possession. I expect City to, kind of put it on them, kind of be the bigger goal threat, of course. There's not really a lot going on in the midfield for Liverpool. They're going to struggle today, of course. And always make sure you wait for lineup. The lineup might actually come out while we're live here, so we might check that out in a little bit. But, Ekatike is going to be very important in the hold-up. And I'm not even sure that Mo Salah will start. He is available, of course, but Asif prefers that Rio start, which against the high line and against the speed merchants back there, especially if it's Kusanov that starts back there, who's been playing really, really well. I'm not sure if they're going to get any joy, but you would expect. I mean, it is an FA Cup quarterfinal. And they are playing Paris in the week, so they might rotate a little bit. If Slot thinks that Salah is more important against Paris, and in my opinion, of course he is, just based on the experience, So you got to expect that Salah will be more valued in the week against Paris than today versus Manchester City, but it'll be interesting to see what Arne Slot thinks, and maybe he'll play both. Who knows? Or maybe Rio will come in late. But I think that the speed Rio gives you would probably be more valued against Man City's high line. the experience in the Champions League would especially against such a dangerous opponent as Paris, is probably where he would be preferred. So maybe he'll play like half. I don't know. Who knows? But I think that this game is not going to go. It's not going to be like a firefight. It's not going to be like a back and forth. I think that it'll be tighter than some of these ideas suggest, especially since City are going to play the full team. They don't need to rest at all. They've got a full week after this game to rest before they play Chelsea. So you expect to see the best team City can put out. And Slot has to be worried about the midweek game versus Paris. So we'll see about that. I still, in spite of that, I still don't think, and Allison's out, of course, I still don't think that means that, that Liverpool are just going to get smashed. But everything is screaming City are going to edge this. Liverpool are still dangerous, but I don't necessarily think that they're going to, they're going to do much. They might get a goal. So yeah, the play that I went with was actually City to win in under 4.5 goals. I actually parlayed that. I think that City will qualify. If you're looking for the safest bet you can do, I would say City to qualify, but you're not getting any value there. One interesting thing is Man City to score 2 goals at least. That's pretty probably nailed on, and you may not get a lot of value with that. So if you want, you could probably do Man City to win, Man City to score 2 goals, and the total goals to be under 5. That would be under 4.5. That would be an aggressive bet. I didn't go that far, but that's kind of what we're looking at. The script that we're kind of following is a 2-1 or a 2-0 for Manchester City, and that seems logical. After, and especially with no Allison. I mean, Mamardashvili is a pretty good player. As far as goalkeepers and backup goalkeepers are concerned. So I think that it is definitely worth having a look at that. But I think City are going to get this one over the line. Liverpool probably will have an eye on the midweek game, and so it won't necessarily be as tight as far as the paper would suggest that they're 2 teams that are very, very good. But yeah, I think City are going to just edge this one. Now, of course, the Arsenal play later on today at St. Mary's, going to be a tough one for us. We are not very good at St. Mary's as far as the record is concerned. But and we're going to circle back around to look at the lineups before we close this off for Man City and Liverpool, because that will be coming out momentarily. But as we move on to the Arsenal game here, a lot of people aren't necessarily thinking about the fact that Southampton have not lost in 14 games. They haven't lost in 14 games. So the most likely, like 1-0 to the Arsenal, 2-1 to the Arsenal, is only like a 45% probability, according to my engine here. And, I think that the overvalue, people are overvaluing, the bettors are overvaluing right now, is where is it? It's in here somewhere. The overvalued, yeah. Heavy margin bets for Arsenal. So like we're gonna win by 3, we're gonna win by 2, we're gonna win by 4, whatever. I think those need to be you need to shy away from that a little bit. It's gonna be tight, this one. Your probably easiest bet is going to be Arsenal to qualify, but it'd be very interesting to see this lineup. That's the thing. What's the lineup going to be? Who's going to play? And that, I think, should especially if you're doing player props, if you're looking, for Victor Gyökeres to score or whatever, make sure he's starting, of course. Make sure he's starting, of course. But I think this one is going to be an under. Again, I went with Arsenal winning under 3.5. Is that the bet I actually put in? Again, gamble responsibly, people. But I think that it's going to be more difficult than necessarily paper. On paper, Arsenal to cruise is not necessarily going to be the best betting stance. I think that we will defend well no matter who plays, and so I don't expect us to get to concede more than one. So that's a bet that's probably nailed on if you want to bet Southampton team goals under 1.5. We do not concede much, but they also don't concede much either. In this 14 game unbeaten run, I know at least in the last 5 games they haven't conceded more than 2. So the under 3.5 is probably nailed on if you want to just bet that straight out. It don't even really matter who wins or advances. That's probably, I mean, my engine says moderate risk for that one. But yeah, I've gone Arsenal to win and under 3.5 for the total goals is probably pretty safe. And it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal approach it. You know, if we come out and just try to kind of grind our way through the game as we've been, which has kind of been the general approach recently, then this could be, you know, a long time at 0-0, could be a long time where we're just kind of keeping them at arm's length, and then eventually we'll find a moment. It's kind of how I feel the game is going to go. It's not necessarily the approach I would like. Honestly, I would like us to come out damn near full strength, get up 4 goals, and then rest everybody, pull everybody at halftime. That would be what I would like to see. I doubt we're going to see that. Honestly, it's interesting to come back to the FA Cup after a long break like this. You know, I saw the meme where it's like whoever decided we were going to be coming back to an FA Cup game after the international break. It's like I need to put them in a choke, like a headlock. It's like this is what I want to do to that person, because it's like, what are we doing here? You know, most of the teams in the league aren't even playing. And there's only 3 FA Cup games today. It's not even all today. I think Leeds West Ham is tomorrow. So it's very interesting to come back to an FA Cup, and it feels weird. Just like I was saying in the podcast on Wednesday, it just kind of feels weird, you know. And it's like a momentum killer. It just kills all momentum. All the narratives from 2 weeks ago are just kind of gone. Like, if you've noticed, there hasn't been any real fanfare about Man City winning the Carabao Cup. You know, there hasn't been any real, oh my God, these guys are going to go on a huge run, because it's all kind of, it seems so far in the past, you know, fading in the distance behind us, which is really weird, you know. And so going into this weekend, there's like no real momentum from anybody. I mean, maybe Victor Gyökeres has some momentum just because of his performances in the international, 4 goals for Sweden, and he brings them to the World Cup. That picture where he's doing the mask with those Sweden fans behind him is absolutely incredible. And so we're hoping to see more of that today. And especially if, you know, I think he should start. Honestly, I think Gyökeres should start every game for the rest of the season. And like I say, pull him off at halftime if we're already up 2 or 3 goals. You know, which is you know, the ideally is what I would want to see, but of course Arteta never ever does what I want to see, which is it, you know, of course, why would he? But I think that this is going to be an interesting game. It's going to be an interesting day, of course. And so yeah, obviously I'm hoping for an Arsenal win. I think, you know, we will win, and it'll be a narrow margin. All right. What's up, Lumen? How you doing? What do you think of the Man City Liverpool game today? You know, Asif didn't seem too excited. Hope you're well, by the way. Thanks for being here every single time. I'm wondering if what Asif is saying is true. You know, he doesn't think Liverpool are necessarily going to be prioritizing this game versus City, and it's going to be kind of a weird approach from them. And he doesn't think they're going to win, really. It will be a draw for 3 reasons. Well, who's going to go through? Who's going to go through is the question. Because there can be no draws, Lumen. No draws today. But, yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. And those lineups should be out. So I'm actually going to go take a look at the lineups for City and Liverpool in this one. That will be very, very interesting to see. And it should be indicative of Liverpool's approach in this one, which is kind of where the game hinges. You would expect Man City to bring the heat, not playing midweek. Here we go, getting it pulled up now. Computer running slow. What are you talking about? Oh my God. ESPN sucks sometimes. All right. First, an early kickoff under the sun, as both sets of players will be a bit rusty after the international break. Fair. Very fair. That's a fair point, certainly. Here we go. Of course, BBC's got the lineups they actually care. Of course, ESPN FC is a nightmare. Okay. We have James Trafford in goal, as you might expect. Mateus Nunes, Kuzanov, Gehi, O'Reilly. Yep. Rodri, Shirky, Silva makes sense. Semenyo, Holland, Doku makes very good sense. Of course, if you're looking for player props, Erling Haaland to score is most likely nailed on. At least one. Lineups will appear here. Why do I have the Man City lineup and not the Liverpool lineup? What's Slot doing? What is Slot doing? Second, both teams will be hesitant to be more open as they know they can concede. That's very fair. Man City definitely can concede going the other way, especially if we could get a Liverpool lineup, here to see who's starting. Don't they have to have the lineups in like an hour and 15 minutes beforehand? And then they don't really release them to the public for like an hour beforehand. What's going on here? Hit refresh again. Okay, it's got the team news and the live reporting, but not on the. Okay, you guys are messing up. All right, Marmadashvili in goal. Of course, Allison out. Third, Hart says it will be a draw, land, and then penalties. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Based on just coming back and there being a little bit of rust, like you say. Your reasoning is definitely sound, Lumen. I like that. We got Marmadashvili in goal, Gomez, Kanate, Van Dijk, and Kirkes across the back. Gravenberch, Sloppy Sly, and Verts. And of course, oh wow, that's interesting. Curtis Jones, Salah, and Ekitike. It'll be Verts up top and Jones in the middle with Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. Of course, you would expect to come off the coming off the side. I think Liverpool need to win. I would love that, honestly, if Liverpool won, although that's not where my money is today. But, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm very interested to see the approach Liverpool will take as far as how intense they're going to go. Probably going to have an eye on Tuesday, as you would expect. But who knows? I'm definitely very interested to see that need this win more than City in contest with what's happening there. Yeah, hey, I agree with that. Liverpool definitely need a boost, definitely need like a morale shot in the arm. I definitely agree with that. City obviously don't necessarily, they've already got their trophy this season, right? They don't necessarily need to come at it, but I bet they will. I actually bet they will. So there should be some space in behind for the likes of Mo Salah and Hugo Ekitike. One of the prop bets was Salah assist or goal anytime, and Ekitike with a shot on target. So that would obviously make sense as well. They are both starting. And I think if Liverpool can get the ball in behind to Salah, like Van Dijk loves to do with that diagonal ball, and they can get in behind O'Reilly, especially if he doesn't stay home in the left back spot, I think they can find some joy there. I absolutely think they can find some joy there. But of course, Gehi and Kusanov are tough to get by. They've certainly, become accustomed to how City play with that high line. And so I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's absolutely going to be a fantastic game. And you know what? I'm absolutely pumped. I think Salah will want to indiscreet Liverpool brightly, so he will be up for it. Actually, I tend to agree with this. I think that all the pressure and the mystery is gone from what Salah's going to do. And I think that was his intention with announcing that he will be leaving at the end of this season, is that now all the pressure's off, all of the is he fading? Is he going to be here next season? Do we need to cash in him? All of that stuff is just kind of gone. And it, can be a freedom, kind of a weight lifted from his shoulders. And as you say, Lumen, he will want to, step it up again and end his career there, with a bang, with a flourish. And so I actually expect Mo Salah's form to improve for the remainder of the season. I actually agree with that 100%. And so I was thinking that maybe we'd see him on Wednesday and not today. It's looking like he'll probably play in both. But yeah, I'm excited about the FA Cup today. I'm excited about today's action elsewhere as well. Of course, plenty going on in the world of football as always. We're going to go ahead and sign off here so I can set up the stream for the watch along coming right up in about 50 minutes now. And I'll have that live. Make sure you are locked in with the notification bell so you know when I'm live for that one. Should be about 10 minutes before kickoff. Thanks for being here. Of course, this has been the Cup Chasers Daily. Go ahead and smash up those likes for a Mo Salah resurgence. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It would be an absolute honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the community. Of course, again, like I said, have that notification bell on so you know when we're live. And I want to know everything you're thinking down in that comment section below. It has been my pleasure this morning. And you. We'll see you next time.